and you haven't made peace about, you're carrying it, you're not going to enter the new that God has. The word shalom also means peace. Well, for us, we come to the end of this year. Tomorrow night, as it gets closer to the new year, I'll speak of what's happened in the world prophetically, of prophetic importance, historical importance, and spiritual importance in the world. We'll touch on what we experienced. But right now, tonight, I want to look at three things that we experienced that were most significant or eventful and things that come out of it. It was a dramatic year this year for us. This is the year we entered this new sanctuary. It wasn't complete, but we entered it. It was a decision we made. And I'm glad we did, because if we didn't do that, we'd still be over there. Sometimes we miss God's will because we're waiting for everything to be perfect before we step out. Before God does everything, God, do this, and I'll do this. The Lord often calls us and requires us to step out before everything is in place. To step into the water before it parts. You step out, and the water, you step there, the water parts. There are those who wait for everything to be right, and some of you, before you'll step out in ministry, before you'll serve the Lord, before you'll step out in faith. As a result, these people never fulfill their calling. There are those who wait for a perfect congregation before getting involved. You're going to be waiting for a long time. There are those who wait for the situation to be perfect before they witness to somebody. As a result, they never witness to anybody. And on and on and on, the doors the Lord would have, waiting for everything to be completely right. When I was first coming to the Lord, I didn't want to come to the Lord. I said, I'm waiting because I want my heart to be right. I don't want to ask with wrong motives. I want my heart to be right. And it sounds noble. But it is not noble. If my heart was right, I wouldn't need salvation. I wouldn't need to ask the Lord, save me. It's like my mother. We used to have a cleaning lady who came once a week. And my mother would say, hey, clean that up. We don't want to look bad for the cleaning lady. It looks like a mess. I said, Mom, that's why you have a cleaning lady. So you can make it could be bad. The Lord didn't wait for everything to be right, in our life, for in any situation, to perform God's will, to perform a miracle. He didn't wait for things to be right with a leper. Obviously, he couldn't have a miracle if it wasn't like that. He didn't wait for things to be right. It was he who made things right. Messiah didn't tell the Father, I'm not going to start this great commission until we have some better people to work with. These guys, these 12, they're just not going to do it. We need a change of staff here. Have you seen Peter? No, God takes us as we are, and God is waiting. God wants take the first step. That's a word in the year. Take the first step. Don't wait for everything. There's things that God has to do, but there are things that God calls us to do, and we have to step out. If you don't step out, you won't see it. Peter's the one who stepped out. He's the only one who walked on water. Take the first step, serve him anyway, step out anyway. We did. If we didn't, we'd be there. Don't hold up the will of God in your life, the growth of God that he wants to give you, the miracle of God that he has for you. The other big event this year, story for us, was a woman called Irene. Not a nice woman. We would not have received her into fellowship. Hurricane Irene. It was without question the greatest single strike in any way that we ever dealt with in our entire history. The greatest hurricane that hit this part of the country, and for the first time, the building here was covered with water. 3 to 4 feet, if you can imagine that's over the stage. Covered with water. Everything you're sitting in right now, covered with water. Not only blocking services to get here, you had to take a boat to get to the building. And so we were gone from our building from the end of August through September into October. It was an incredible challenge to keep things going. But God, just in the nick of time, provided for us, as he always does, with a place just a little bit away from here, just at the last moment. He blessed us there. And we were blessed with something else. It was really miraculous. God does miracles in all sorts of ways, and sometimes his miracles are through people and their hearts. And with the work and those who came here after that, from the time that the building was covered with water, and almost every wall ruined except for the stone walls here, everything ruined, the stage ruined, everything ruined. untold damage, everything covering every desk, every office, every computer in some way, pretty much everything. From the time that this was like this, all electricity out, dark, water, all that, until the time we returned, it was only about 7 weeks. And the building was totally dry, totally processed. Every wall had been gutted and restored. And here we are. It's the biggest challenge we ever dealt with. And here we are. And we're moving forward. We have to thank God for that. To thank God for keeping us, preserving us. Sometimes we don't give thanks because things are not happening like hurricanes. But every moment is that. There's a Hebrew blessing. It says, and many of you know it, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyanu kiyamanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, who preserved our lives, who sustained us, enabled us to reach this day. Everyone, we got to thank God for that. And we have to thank God no matter what, if you had a hurricane or no hurricane. In either case, the point is every moment of your life, you're being sustained by God. Undoubtedly, you had some problems this